And welcome
Wow,
back to
wow,
Division.
wow.
There. Oh my goodness. We are
Oh
recording this
my
right
God.
after the final game of this wraparound Mets and Braves series. And I got to be honest, we've watched a lot of Mets and Braves baseball. That's got to be one of the better Mets and Braves games we have watched, or
Yeah,
maybe just in
yeah.
general, one of the
No, that
better Mets and
was.
Braves series in general that we've seen. I'm like, almost crazy comeback
Hmm.
in the third game, crazy game, obviously the huge blowout on July 4th, and
Yeah.
then a good game. So I'm like,
No, that was definitely game of the year, at least for the Mets this season. I don't know about the Braves, but as far as excitement goes and as far as, managing expectations, right? Like this game was 3-2 in the ninth inning. Coming into the ninth inning, it was 3-2, and just the way that it unfolded was crazy. We'll get to all of it. I mean, we have quite a bit to get to. But
yeah,
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 let's
absolutely.
let's start off in the first game of the series. Juan Soto is on an island here. Okay?
He truly
He
is, man.
is
It's
by
insane.
himself. He is the only one capable of doing anything for this Mets offense. Home run to tie it after the Braves took the lead. I mean, he is just doing everything in his power. And it is so insane. Congrats to him, the lone representative for the Mets as an all-star. Well
Yeah,
deserved.
yeah.
Even with the injury, is still putting up just insane numbers. And so, yeah, he just had a crazy series against the Braves. But in this game, Christian Scott was meh, like definite step back for him, which is
Yeah,
frustrating.
100%.
He
Yeah.
needs to he needs to manage the walks. Like the whip is just kind of out of control, and that's why he can never really get deep into games. And so
But
that's kind of
the slug was the biggest issue for him, and that's
well,
was
yeah,
he just
yeah,
and what's crazy is that only one of the hits, and I don't even think the single that Harris got
hmm
was even off of him.
no,
So it
it
was just
wasn't. It
everything.
wasn't.
Every time they made contact, it was
It was a
gone.
home
I'm
run.
like,
Yeah, which is
yeah, yeah,
like that's like part of pitching to the Braves, right? Even though the Braves were a struggling team, we knew that once the Mets played them, they'd wake up. And two,
yeah.
it's also like the weather in Atlanta's hot, like everything is flying
So
out of
hot.
there.
Oh my
So
god, it's
it wasn't
awful.
super surprising, but it was definitely a step backwards. And then AJ Minter in his return to Atlanta. Hey, here's a home run for you, my good friend Matt Olson. My buddy
Yeah,
Matt. This one's for
God, that was
you. I'm gonna
right
throw
down the
this
middle,
right down the
right down the
middle.
middle.
Like
Yeah,
it was just like secret agent right there, AJ Minter. They brought in Senga. Senga didn't look awful, but
he
and
did not.
honestly, like the interesting part about this game was that the Mets out hit the Braves. They out hit them by double. They had 10 hits, the Braves 5, like you said. It seemed like every hit that the Braves had was just a home run. But 10 left on base is just not going to cut it. Even though the Braves are slumping, they are still a first place team. They're still one of the best teams in the league, even with all their injuries. As much as you probably don't want to admit it because they've struggled so much, like their offense is still potent, right? Like we saw, of
Yeah.
course, some of their guys get going against the Mets,
I'm
like
like,
Michael
both teams scored
Harris.
a bunch of runs.
Oh yeah,
This was a
yeah.
run scoring series. That's for certain. Not great for pitchers' ERAs. That is for certain.
And
Yeah.
yeah, second game,
Whew,
man.
man,
Is there a
listen.
mercy rule in baseball? And if not, can there be? Because that was cruel. Mania didn't have anything. And the Mets defense was so bad. I mean, you saw that one play,
Insane.
like
I'm like,
letting up 3 runs on that hit that should have been an out is
yeah,
crazy. Like the defense has just been so awful. And I have supported David Stearns all season, but you cannot preach run prevention and then put out that shit. They look terrible. You have so many
but
guys
what's
at different
insane to me
positions.
is
Like
that
it's insane.
I feel like it is such an athletic outfield, which is like so insane to me. With Ewing out there, with
It
Benj
is, it
out
is,
there,
but it's a
it
young outfield, and so it's
yeah,
like who do you seed the ball to, right? It's like Ewing in center, but you have Francisco Lindor, who's a total vet, on the Mets, and it's like okay, it's probably his ball, and just like miscommunication, and it's just like they're showing their true colors as like a young outfield when these plays come up. And yeah, that was just that could not have happened. It just like was
I
not,
will say something that I did notice that was really interesting to me is obviously I haven't really gotten a chance to watch a lot of Mets baseball this year, but man, dude, Lindor looks old, bro.
he does.
Lindor looks
It's the hair.
old,
It's
man.
the hair. He
It's
let
the
down the hair.
hair. Like it's like the swings he's taking, like it just does not look like he is an overarchingly competitive baseball player anymore. And like it's sad because I
Yeah,
love Mr. Smile. Like
yeah.
I love Francisco Lindor. Like obviously that's weird to say as a Braves fan, but
Hmm.
I've always loved Lindor. He's such a great
He's
guy,
good for the game. Yeah, he's a stand-up
a genuine
guy.
dude. I do
Absolutely.
not believe one bit any of the drama that surrounds this supposed uh,
Juan
beefing
Soto.
with teammates. Like I don't
Yeah.
believe that stuff. I just don't. I
Well,
think that's just weird.
Cohen kind of like confirmed it from last year at least a little bit between him and Soto. Just that it was like a rocky start. And when
Yeah,
Soto was asked about it, he was like, you don't go start kissing the girl when you just meet her. Like it was just a crazy quote
yeah, it
for
was.
friendship about
I don't know.
Francisco Lindor.
Soto's not super great, but
Yeah.
what I will say is that I think I can confidently say when Sale hangs him up, right, he will be a top 5 pitcher in Braves history. Sale
We're talking
celebrated.
about the Braves. We're talking about the Mets here. What the hell?
No, but
This is
I'm saying
ridiculous. You hijacked.
I'm not. What I'm saying is that Sale celebrated our wonderful country's 250th birthday
Hmm.
with his 10th All Star selection, 500K as a Brave, and he leads Necro, Maddox, Glavin, and Smoltz in career ERA and WHIP, and just matched Maddox with his 10 All Star selections. So
No,
I
he's
gotta
had a
say,
great career. He's
yeah,
an excellent, excellent career.
yeah, so I'm like obviously just talking about that specific game, and to start, obviously, the Braves that had a pretty decent start, but the Mets were hitting Sale pretty hard, and in that
They
moment
were.
in the fifth inning, when Sale came out, and I'm trying to. I'm struggling. I'm struggling to remember who it was who they brought in that shut him down. I don't know if it was Didier Fuentes,
I
or
think it was
Kenley. Man,
Fuentes. Yeah.
yeah, Fuentes. But I'm like the Mets were hitting Sale hard. So
Yeah.
like I definitely think that
Not for nothing.
there
And they
was a
had their
moment in that
chances,
game.
right? Like
Yeah,
Vientos and Tyrone Taylor hit the home runs, but they just couldn't get a clutch hit to save their lives. And that's the difference. We've talked about it all season long. It's the difference between good teams and bad teams. And then their
right.
bullpen just, their bullpen has been so good this season, but they just completely shat the bed. Austin Warren, Joey Gerber, just absolutely brutal. You bring in Torrens to mop it up, position
Right.
player, but
Yeah.
overall, just a super ugly, ugly game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I honestly was not really expecting that game to go the way it did in that
Hmm.
moment, but I'm like obviously the Braves hit 9 home runs over the first 2 games. So I'm like the ball was just absolutely flying. I'm the last time
Yeah,
Braves
exactly.
hit
Like
9 home
it's
runs in a 2
nuts.
game span was in 2023. So the ball was just absolutely flying.
Pretty good year.
Eli Eli White had 4 RBIs matching that Speedway Series performance when he won the Speedway Series MVP. Shout out that. And I will also shout out Riley, who got the 3-run home run. Man, he did get it, and he started to maybe find it a little bit, but man, I'm like specifically at the last game, like it's just uncompetitive at bat versus Williams. Did not swing at a single pitch in the
Hmm.
zone. I'm like, it is still genuinely really bad, and I right now am not super confident that we're going to see Riley bounce back at all. I just think that this is what he's going to be for the rest of the season. It just
That
does not really
contract's
seem.
ugly too. That
Yeah,
contract.
it
It's not as ugly as
honestly,
Trey Turner's, but it's up there.
it's not. You're right. It's not as
It's up
ugly as
there.
Trey Turner's, but I feel like Braves and Phillies fans can feel equally as
Yeah.
pretty bad about those situations right now.
Although I think you
Uh,
feel better about Riley because I feel like a lot of Trey Turner's value is tied to his base running and his speed, and once that goes, it's like okay, then what is he? He's a bad defensive shortstop and like a mediocre bat. Whereas Riley, it's like he's never been tied to his speed. He can get the power back. Maybe he's just not healthy. Like there's, but it has been like what, like 4 down seasons for Riley in a row. Like
Yeah,
it's not great.
it is. Yeah, it is just not really been obviously other than 2023, but obviously the Braves were incredible all across the board
Hmm.
and 2023. But man, dude, that third game was absolutely insane, and the rain delay really just kind of messed with everybody.
Hmm.
That game started super weird. I'm like, in the beginning in the first inning, they got to third. Perez, Mets only got one run, and I was like, okay, it seems like it's going to be pretty normal. And then I'm like, okay, McLean's already got one run, but then Ozzy, pounced on him with the double. Yeah, gave up three, and I was like, wait a second, with that Michael Harris single, and then that throwing error from McLean where Dubon got the single, it was just 3-1. I was like, wait a second, I'm like, is this going to be some sort of slugfest? But it was very clear that it was just kind of some rust early. And listen, McLean locked in.
Yeah,
dude.
McLean has been awesome.
Sorry, McLean.
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 We'll call it a
apologies.
regionalism. We'll call it a regionalism from.
There you go.
Atlanta. But McLean has honestly, he's been a little disappointing. I think a lot of people had such high expectations because of how good he was last year. But people have to remember, like, this guy technically is still a rookie. Like, he is still qualified for the Rookie of the Year. Obviously, I think a lot of people thought like he had a lot of promise coming into the season, which is, I thought the same thing. Obviously, he had a great season last year. He pitches for Team USA, looks really good there. And then this season, he starts off just like gangbusters, just, ants on fire. And then, he's kind of slowed down. Like, he's had some control issues. He's had these big blow up innings that have kind of shot him in the foot. Right. And so, I saw that for, that 3-run first inning, and I'm like, oh my God, here we go. Like another, 6-run outing. But no, he settled in a big, big way. And so, that's what you love to see as a season that's lost. You want to see these small, growing moments from your young guys. And I absolutely saw that from McLean in that game.
Yeah, but man, I just gotta talk about that. Some people call it a slurve, some people call it a curveball, some people.
His sweeper.
I'm like, God, dude, sweeper, whatever it is. Oh my God, that movement on
the
that
rotations
pitch
is crazy.
It's
like
just
pitching
insane,
ninja just loves
man.
McLean.
Loves McLean because it genuinely feels like when it is a competitive moment or he genuinely just needs a strike, it's almost a guaranteed strike. Like, that is such a good pitch. And I really enjoyed watching him pitch. Obviously it did suck that he was dominating, but he really settled down and got into the 7th, right? Did he get through 7?
He got through 6. He got through 6. And finally the offense showed up. I mean, Lindor, Bichette, and Soto all had great games. 6 for 13 from that trio. 6 RBIs. Great series, But this game specifically, this is what Mets fans were promised over the offseason. This is the top 3 that we said, okay, this could be the deepest lineup in baseball with Vientos, with Alvarez, with, Benj. And we finally saw it. And it just sucks because it just feels like it's too little too late, right? Like, everyone and their mother thinks that the Mets are going to sell. They should sell. Let's be clear about that. And someone that they should absolutely sell, Mark Vientos. He has no place on this team. 0 place on this team. He has -8 outs above replacement. That is tied for worst at the position. 2 more errors in this game. He should never play first base. And Andy Green has said that Jared Young is going to take most of the reps at first base, and it should be all of the reps. Vientos has no position. He cannot hit. He cannot challenge correctly. Like, it is just mind-boggling how this guy is on the Mets. Truly, like, it feels like the Anthony Volpe of the Mets, right? Like, I saw a clip of John Boy being like, Anthony Volpe has had so many shots. It's crazy how many shots this guy has had. He's been so awful. It's like the same thing with Vientos. It's like, how many times do I have to see it? I'm sick of it. I'm done.
And what's crazy to me, and I completely sympathize with you, because watching this guy play, watching him throw that ball from a seated position like a petulant child and not get the ball out.
What about the challenges? The selfish challenge second inning. It's like ridiculous.
I will say the Mets sucked at challenges for the most of the game. I will say right at the end, Luis Torrens getting those 2 challenges.
Tonight.
That was insane. But I'm like,
that Bichette challenge was terrible in the last game.
I'm like, literally, like, multiple right down the middle challenges, and it's just ego challenges. Like, that is like insane behavior. I've just not seen a player this year in all of the baseball that I've watched that is so selfish.
I don't know. Rosarena lost 2 in the first inning.
I will say, but it's not just about like the challenges. It's also just genuinely
it's everything.
about that.
It's the way he carries himself.
He just doesn't seem like a good team player, does not
Yeah.
seem like a particularly likable guy.
I can't
And
wait for the offseason when all these stories come out about how hated he was. He's inevitably going to get traded, right? Like going
right.
into this season, going into last offseason, I thought he was going to get traded. They didn't trade him because his value had never been lower. I think he's tanked his value entirely. Like I think this is just a change of scenery thing. Like I just don't think he's going to be able to get it going in New York again. And maybe he might
Yeah.
not be able to get it going anywhere because like look at what happened with Jared Kelenic. Like
But I'm like, we got to talk about the main point of this game. Screw first inning
yeah,
through eighth
yeah,
inning.
yeah.
The
Ninth inning.
ninth inning.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I'm like, Braves fans are losing their absolute minds about Cookie Carrasco right now. And
Seventh time that he got DFA'd this year.
seventh time that he got DFA'd this year. And I don't know what it is. I'm like, I'm a very emotional Braves fan. Like, I really kind of have my heart on my sleeve. And I don't know what it is. Like, this is just this one moment where I didn't feel super upset because when Walt, who has had kind of some more questionable decisions down the road here, like, I can see why he's trying to save that bullpen. And that
Mm-hmm.
expectation is that Cookie can at least make that one pitch, man. And oh my God, it was just so bad. And then out of the blue, it's just 10-3. And you're like, I turned the game off. I was like, okay, game is over. But we gotta talk about one of my favorite moments of the year. He's been struggling, but when
Mm-hmm.
Drake Baldwin's career's over and done with, he will have more All-Star selections than Brian McCann.
Wow. That's
Book it.
seven. That's seven, by the way.
That's
McCann
7
has.
All-Star selections. He backed up that rookie of the year with an All-Star selection and showed why he belongs in Philly with a huge grand slam. Just got over the wall.
Yeah,
I'm
I was
like,
gonna say it was a cheapy grand slam. It barely got out.
but I'm like huge in the sense of the moment, not
Yes,
huge
yes,
in the
yes.
sense of a
Moonshot.
no doubt
Yeah,
bomb. Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, it was almost disaster with Eli White not rounding in time and coming back, and they almost crossed paths. So
Mhm.
that was. But yeah, I'm like huge grand slam. He was struggling to find his groove, but I'm confident that Drake will find it in the second half. And that was a great grand slam for him to kind of find a stride. And then he also had a couple hits in the final game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on the flip side, as the Mets' point of view for that one, it's like Brazoban had nothing. It was frustrating because it
That
seemed
was
like
so bad.
it looked like Mendoza was managing the Mets again because Andy Green just like sat on his hands and like Brazoban clearly did not have it, right? Like everyone could tell. And so it's like why wouldn't you pull him a little earlier and then they bring in Devin Williams. Devin Williams.
But Devin Williams hasn't had it. Devin Williams hasn't had it either.
No,
and
I know.
it's
Who do you
crazy
turn to
that-
other than Rayleigh
Yeah.
and Luke Weaver? Who do you turn to genuinely? And Brazoban. Listen. Brazoban has had a great season, right? Like his ERA was like
Right.
sub 2 prior to this
Yeah.
outing. They have gotten so much from him, and it was just a bad outing. But
Right.
but yeah, it was mind-boggling why he was in there for so long.
But yeah, man. And final game, we already kind of sort of talked about it. I'm like,
Insane.
just an
Insane.
absolute insane game. On the Braves side of things for pitching, Ronaldo Lopez, second straight start with 5 innings of
Mm-hmm.
one run, or I guess the other one was 2-run ball. But I'm like, clearly he's proven okay.
Back in the
He
rotation.
belongs to the rotation. He's back in the rotation. He's ready to go. So that's good news. It
Yeah,
really
Freddie
seemed like
Peralta, I thought looked better than the numbers give him credit for. It was a lot of soft contact. They didn't have a lot of hard hits off of him. Some bad defense, obviously, from the Mets.
I was going to ask you, I was going to text you while we were watching the game. I just don't see a competitor wanting Freddie Peralta. Like, it just doesn't really seem like
I don't
he is
know.
someone that a competitive playoff rotation wants right now.
Every
I
team
think the
needs pitching, dude. Think about the pitching injuries across the league, right? Like the Yankees could use him. They have 7 guys that are injured. The Cubs could use him. The Cubs, he could probably start game 1 for the Cubs of a playoff series.
That's
Him or
actually true.
Imanaga?
The Cubs, literally
Like,
pretty
I'd
much the
probably-
entire Cubs
Yeah, like-
rotation. Yeah, I don't know. It's just I have never understood why Freddie Peralta finds success. He has one of the flattest fastballs in Major League Baseball,
Fastball
and it
Freddie.
just genuinely feels like it's just so uncompetitive sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't like watching him pitch. He's kind of one of the more annoying pitchers to watch pitch.
Yeah.
And I was really excited for you initially when they signed him in the offseason because obviously he had found a lot of success in Milwaukee and he
Yeah,
had a
when they
lot of
yeah.
strikeouts in Milwaukee and
I was excited
I
when
don't know.
when they traded for him. I was excited. Then you look at his numbers a little bit more, right? Like the 2.7 ERA from last year is a bit misleading. The xERA was still hovering around 3.7, which is kind of his average for the career. And like a 3.7 ERA is fine, but it's not Max Fried money that he's wanting, like. But
Yeah.
I mean, there are tons of teams that could use him. Any AL team could use him. I don't know how much he will get at the trade deadline. Like, I don't know how much he'll go for, just because he is kind of just all of his value is kind of shot. You hope that
Yeah.
like teams believe in his track record and that he's a clutch player. But yeah, this season it's kind of been a lost season for him.
Yeah, and listen, as we go kind of further in this game, the Mets got a run back, and listen, you go to the top of the ninth. This is going to be the really controversial moment. Should they have
We
walked?
disagree. We disagree
Yeah,
because I would have walked Juan Soto there.
and I completely understand the perspective of walking Juan Soto if Bo Bichette, who was equally as hot for the series, had
Mhm.
not been hitting insane and had not been great against righties during the series, and because then Braves
See,
fans
that's where
would
you
have been
lose me
super
because
upset.
like Bo Bichette and Juan Soto are just not on the same level, right? Like,
Yeah,
and if you are pitching to Juan Soto and it's 3-1, why are you giving him a fastball?
yeah, no,
Why
no,
are
one
you
hundred
giving him a
percent,
fastball? Give him something off
100%,
speed, like
100%. That was an ego
yeah.
chow from Iglesias. He thinks, and listen, I don't blame him. He's a closer.
No,
Had the
they announced he had like 30.
biggest egos.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
they announced that
biggest
he had like
ego in baseball.
35 saves in a row or something. Like it was a crazy
Yeah,
streak dating back to last season. Like it was wild. And the ball barely stayed fair to be really
yes,
fair to him.
but listen, as we know, Juan Soto's absurd inside. He's one of the best hitters of our
Absurd. He's so
generation.
quick
And
inside.
he took an absolutely absurd swing, and then we thought it was over, and then it was not over because Matty O hit that 2-run home run, and we were like, oh, sick. They're
Mhm.
going to win that. And then they got people on base in the bottom of the ninth, and then just
Shout out Brooks
uncompetitive.
Raley. Yeah, brought in for
Yeah.
one batter, just 3 pitches, 3 strikes. You're out of there, kid.
Yeah, shout
On
out
to the
Brooks
10th.
Raley for striking Jose Ozokar, who just
Listen,
one
you
of the most
gotta-
least
Yeah.
competitive at bats I've ever seen in my entire life. And then top of the ninth, Owen Murphy comes in. Braves debut.
Major league
made a
debut.
video. Yeah, Braves debut, major league debut, and he was great, looking great. And then just a hanger to Luis Torrens, who
Yeah, well,
decided to be that
well,
guy today.
yeah, and he overthrew that fastball to Jared Young, hit him in the shin, right? Like that was just clear that it was his first appearance. It was a tough, it's a tough
I'm
scenario.
like, he tried
put
to
him
throw
in,
that
right?
fastball
Like,
about a million
Yeah,
freaking
yeah,
miles an
like,
hour.
yeah.
I'm like, he tried to blow that by.
like really
And
tough spot.
do
to
I
put him
blame?
in.
Do I blame the
No,
guy?
no.
I'm like, he's feeling it like everyone, and I'm like, listen, I'm like, the guy clearly has a lot of really great tools.
Mhm.
I think he's going to be very successful,
And
have a
then,
very
yeah,
successful major league career.
Yeah,
And then Luke Weaver's
Weaver.
scoreless streak is over.
Well, technically, the earned run
What-
streak is still intact. The Manfred man is not
Ah,
an earned run, so
That's true. That's
let's-
true. That's true. That's
let's
true.
be
That's
clear
true.
there.
That
But
is
yeah,
true.
He did his best to end his scoreless streak because that was a nail biter down till the final strike, right? Like that was just a crazy game. Crazy, honestly, not that crazy of a game. Crazy like final 2 innings, 9th and 10th innings of that game were insane.
Oh yeah,
and
crazy ends to
yeah.
majority of these games.
Yeah,
But
USA
we split-
played their entire soccer game, and then the Mets Braves played the full game and then some.
Dude, yeah, don't even talk about US. That was embarrassing. But yeah, man, it's a series split. The Braves just genuinely cannot make up ground when the Phillies lost to the Royals. Like that was kind of insane. I don't even know.
Sanchez, rare
Christopher
one.
Sanchez, just wore one today. That was insane. But yeah, man, still 3 games. Interesting to see as we go into the All-Star break what's
Really
going to happen in the
interesting.
second half. But
Yeah.
yeah, we got. But speaking of All-Star, instead of kind of doing a little recaps, we're going to look at all of the All-Star selections and shout out. There were a bunch from the NL East. Obviously, one
Tons.
as Brett already talked about, Juan
Yeah.
Soto. Five from the Braves. I've already talked about two. So we got to talk about Matt Olson. Any fan that still compares him to Freddie and Matt needs to let it go. Matt Olson has played to his fourth career All-Star selection and his third with Atlanta. He ranks top 5 in MLB in extra base hits, third with 44, doubles he has 22, he's tied for fourth, and total bases he is fifth. You know, I love
Is
Mason Matteo, and I'm just grateful that he plays first base for the Atlanta Braves.
is he starting?
No, he is not starting.
Who's
Unfortunately,
starting?
he is a reserve, and unfortunately, Freddie Freeman is starting.
Right.
But that's fan vote. That's
Right.
that's a fan vote type situation.
Freddie Freeman's been
because,
better than Matt Olson this whole year.
I would not say that. I feel like they have been very equally. If you look at the baseball reference, Freeman has him on average, but Olson has him almost on everything else.
Different profiles. Different.
I feel
profiles.
like they're very very equal.
Yeah.
Then we have the starting second
There you go.
baseman
There you
for
go.
the National League. You know, one thing is for certain: second base for the Atlanta Braves will be manned by the king of the fish for a long time. Ozzie Albies earns his fourth All-Star selection and garners his first fan selection to become the third Atlanta second baseman to secure the honor, along with Marcus Giles and Dan Uggla. Shout out Dan Uggla. Love me some Dan Uggla. So that's awesome for him. To be honest, is he the best second baseman in the National League? No, I don't really think so.
Crazy that some of these guys did not get in. Turang didn't get in. JJ Weatherholt.
Yeah,
like,
Turang is very clearly
wild.
should. Yeah, but Ozzie is beloved throughout the league, and he's been great. He has been a very competitive. He's been a top 5 second baseman, and if you're top 5 second baseman and you're one of the most loved players in the league, kind of across the board, except if you're a Phillies fan, I suppose. You know, that is really awesome from him. And then finally, even though he did blow the save today, Iglesias gets his first All-Star selection. The heart attack kid finally gets his moment. Iglesias was selected for his first All-Star game at 35 years old, which is kind of crazy because he had a great career with the Angels. A lot of people forget about how locked down Iglesias was in Anaheim. You know, the right-hander converted each of his last 35 saves. Unfortunately, the 36th save. Until tonight, but still, he's had a great career, and I'm really, really happy for him that he finally gets that All-Star selection. Okay, so on to the greater NL East and All-Star selections. We got to start with the Miami Marlins. And honestly, in my personal opinion, but then again, I'm like CJ Abrams, so it's kind of difficult. But Otto Lopez, infielder, reserve, you know, becomes the first Marlins shortstop selected to the All-Star game since Hanley Ramirez in 2010. He leads Major League Baseball with 120 hits, a 341 average, while ranking second among National League position players with a 4.1 F4.
Dude,
That
it's
is
so crazy.
insane,
It's so crazy
bro.
because he was cut by 2 teams. Right, like
I can't believe
this guy's been around. People have had their chance to have Otto
He was claimed
Lopez.
off the waivers
It's
from
crazy.
San Francisco.
I know, and then he won Player of the Week this week. Like, it's just like I'm really happy for him. You know, like obviously he's in division, so I can't be that happy for him. But it's just like it seems like a good dude. You know, happy that he has gotten his shot and he's just ran with it. Right, like the Marlins have been super surprising as a team, and he's a huge part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And a pitcher also from the Marlins. And the biggest surprise for the Marlins, who, might I remind you, were the best team in June and have been one of the best teams in the NL East, if not the best team in the NL East this last month or so. You know, Meyer is selected. Max Meyer, who becomes the first Marlins pitcher to be named an all-star starting pitcher, since Sandy in 2022. He owns a 9-1 record, a 2.53 ERA, 36 walks, 112 strikeouts through 18 starts in 2026. He has a 1.1 WHIP and a 205 average against. You know, I'm like, this pick has really panned out for the
Hmm.
Marlins. I'm like, this is super exciting for them to have a guy like this selected to the All-Star team. I'm like, this is kind of really exciting news from them. So two big selections for the Marlins. Obviously, they get one selection, one from each team. But I'm like,
Yeah, and honestly,
two
like,
deserved guys. It's not
yeah,
just
and
a mercy pick.
big snub for Liam Hicks, who
Oh,
has had a
absolutely.
great season. If he wasn't injured for those couple of weeks, there's no doubt he gets in. I also think like
100%.
I think he will get in eventually, right? With all there's so many guys that come out like a couple days before the All-Star game and are like, actually, I'm going to take some break from
Right.
my back. I want to go to Cabo, like these things. Like I think Liam Hicks at the
Yeah.
end of the day will be an All-Star. He will be in Philadelphia, and deservedly so because he's had a sick season as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And also moving on to the Nationals, the reason Otto Lopez is not starting,
Yeah.
and it's crazy that basically the two best shortstops in the National League are in the same division.
Yeah.
CJ Abrams,
Especially when
man,
Ellie De La Cruz exists.
I know that is crazy, man. And CJ Abrams, he's just incredible. Like first among NL shortstops in RBIs, extra base hits, second in OPS, second in slugging, second in WRC plus,
Crazy.
WOBA, and on base. I'm like, he is just absolutely incredible, man. I'm
Hmm.
like, he has had his best season. This is his second All-Star nod. He did get one in 2024, but I'm like, I just if I'm a Nationals fan, I am enjoying every single moment that CJ Abrams is playing with that W on the hat because eventually he will not be playing Nationals baseball. He will be playing baseball elsewhere. Um, and yeah, and then we also got James Wood for the Nationals, who has also equally had a great. A lot of people could make the argument that he should be starting in the
Mind-boggling
outfield.
that he's not a starter.
Yeah,
Mind-boggling.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
crazy.
So
Pages? You kidding?
yeah, fan vote, man.
James Wood.
I know it sucks. It sucks.
Brandon
It's
Marsh. Like, come on. We'll
yeah,
get to him. We'll
yeah,
get to him.
yeah. But
He should be
yeah, talk to me
starting.
about these
James Wood should be
Phillies, man.
starting. Dude, the Phillies got a lot. Of course they did. It's going to be played in Philadelphia. The fans showed up, showed out. Brandon Marsh, voted by the fans, the first Phillies outfielder since 2009, Raul Ibanez. Brandon
That's
Marsh,
crazy.
who's kind of just been like a guy the past,
Yeah,
5, 6 years. This year is just having a sick season.
yeah. The best
309
year of his career.
average. Yeah,
Yep.
contract year, best year of his career, 850 OPS. Like he's just been great and totally unexpected. I know when we talked about the Phillies lineup coming into the season, he was a name that we were like, yeah, like he's there, like that. We probably looked at it as a negative, him and Bohm and Stott, but he has just totally transformed his game, right? Like he has just been
Yeah.
so good this season. And then Bryce Harper gets his ninth All Star. Congrats to Bryce. He was the commissioner's legend pick for the National League squad. And honestly, he deserves to be in the All Star game.
Yeah.
If the All Star game were like positionless or even semi positionless, he would have gotten in. He's had a great season, 270 average, 20 home runs, 57 RBIs, 892 OPS. And he deserves, and the Phillies fans deserve to see Bryce Harper as an All Star. He's given
Right.
so much to that city, and I just know that they're going to be really excited. And then Kyle Schwarber, reserve.
Yeah, that's
Which
crazy.
listen, I
Absolutely
get it. I
insane.
get it. I get it.
I will say.
Otani exists in this lifetime, but Schwarber has been incredible, and he
Yeah.
actually he won the player voting portion. Obviously, Otani won the fan vote, and he was the most voted, so he obviously got the lock as a starter. But Schwarber, 30 home runs, 55 RBIs, 936 OPS. A lot of that was done in that series against the Mets, where he just absolutely crushed them. I mean, what more needs to be said about Kyle Schwarber? Like, he has just been one of the league's best hitters for the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, right? Like, any team would want to have him. And so, congrats to Kyle. And then they got some pitchers as well. One
One thing
starter
I
and
one thing I
one.
will want to say, and I want to
Yeah.
speak directly to Dave Roberts about this. Dave, if you're going to have Otani pitch, start Kyle Schwarber. Start Kyle Schwarber, have
I see that.
Otani come in
I see that.
for an at bat if you really need him to come in
I
for an at
honestly
bat.
don't. Yeah, I don't think Otani's going to pitch at all. He might honestly just ask out of
Yeah,
the All-Star game because he said it. Dave Roberts was like, if Otani's pitching, he's starting. It doesn't make sense for him to like go warm up in the middle of the game, you know? So
yeah,
I'm with you. I'm with you. And listen, Christopher Sanchez could be the one to start that game. Him, the Miz, Otani, like you pick.
well,
Um,
it should be the Miz.
it should be the Miz. Sanchez has been so good up until today, I will say. Today he got
Yeah,
absolutely crushed, but a little unlucky. Trey Turner maybe should have made a better throw. It's not an error, and 6 runs score. Like, it's definitely MLB scoring's a little interesting there. But
yeah,
Sanchez has been, top 2 pitcher in the National League, right? Like, if you had to give Cy Young ballots, it's Mizorowski, Christopher Sanchez. Team leading 4.3 WAR, which is just insane from a pitcher that pitches every 5th day. When you have Schwarber, who has just been unreal, and then they have Duran as the reserve here, and yeah, I mean he's been so good as well. 2.5 ERA. He's been one of their best closers in baseball. And honestly, when they traded for him, a lot of people loved the move. He's kind of struggled last year a little bit, but this year he's 101 splinker, and it's just yielded 0 barrels whatsoever. So
yeah. It's
just
insane.
absolutely so sick. Yeah, what more can you say? Five All-Stars from the Phillies, and good for them. Like, they deserve it. They have, obviously came back from Rob Thompson getting fired, and Don Mattingly has kind of righted the ship for them. And so, yeah, 5 All-Stars, a lot of All-Stars. That was a lot for the NL East right there.
Yeah, I would say I'm very proud of the NL East. I'm like they could have just had their mandatory one player, and obviously the one team that was the Mets, but obviously he's a deserved player in the All Star in that sense.
I do think Luke Weaver will get in. I do think
You
the Mets
do?
will have
Yep.
2. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Who has to leave?
I don't know. I think it'll just be a pitcher that like pitches on Sunday or Saturday, wants some extra rest. You know how it is,
Yeah.
like the last
Yeah,
48
yeah.
hours before.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's certainly the possibility that Weaver will get in, but
Mhm.
yes, everyone I do agree from the Phillies deserves for the Nationals. Like there's no one that was selected from our division that doesn't deserve to be in
No,
Philly.
no.
That is for certain. So that's super exciting. I'm
There were
really proud of
probably
the
there,
NL East.
yeah, there were probably another guy you could add. Like if Foster Griffin got a nod, I don't think anyone would be super surprised or outraged by it. He's at sub 3 ERA for a really good team. Like I don't
And
know.
I will say after taking the lead for the season series for those first two, you took the lead back. It is now
It
four to
is.
three in the
Great,
season.
great. Let's
In
check
the
the
season
standings.
series,
See how much
yeah,
that matters.
six more games left to go. Obviously more of just a competitive nature for the podcast per se. But
I'm
but
actually going to 3 games this week. I'm going to Tuesday's games, Wednesday's game, and then
why are you going to
Saturday's.
so many games?
It just so happened to break that way. Like I just got tickets from some other people, and it just so happens to all be this week. So maybe this is the week that the Mets turn it around. Maybe I'm the good luck charm, and
There you
if
go.
not, I will be having the the Fire Stearns
There you go.
brown paper back.
Well, another great face-off for
Yeah.
our teams, a fun series, and we will see the Braves play the Pirates, face Skeens in their first game, so
hmm
that's gonna be interesting to see.
Skeens has
And
been
then
so mid lately,
yes,
so
yes,
mid.
so we'll see, and then the Mets face
The Royals, yeah.
the
So we got
Royals. Okay,
lot
off,
of facing a lot of
fresh off,
former
yeah.
Mets. Yeah, fresh off the big offensive explosion. They face Lugo tomorrow, former Met Michael Wacha the next day, former Met as well. So I'm expecting 7 innings, shutout ball from them, 10 strikeouts, career high, maybe a perfect game from one of them. Who knows? Maybe I'll be there for a perfect game. That
Maybe.
just seems, yeah, it's just always how former Mets
Well,
play the Mets. So
Well, let us know. Do you think that there's anyone that was snubbed? There are a lot of Braves fans that do believe that Harris was snubbed.
he'll get in.
Obviously,
He'll get in.
Obviously, yeah, there's certainly a possibility that he'll get in. Obviously, is Weaver considered a snub, or if he gets in, is he a
Wood
snub?
should be starting.
Wood should definitely be starting. I'm trying to think if there's
Liam
anybody
Hicks.
else. Liam Hicks. Yeah, that's probably
Liam
about it. But if
Hicks.
there's any other snubs, let us know. And we're excited for the All-Star game. We're not excited that it's in Philly, but we're excited to see all of our wonderful players play. And
Yeah.
that is Division Therapy. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace.